The Open Championship is being held this week at Royal Birkdale in Southport, England. Birkdale is a very fascinating place for many different reasons, but one that I find particularly interesting is that the club has really been a pioneer in terms of women's golf. It was formed in 1889, and from a very early date, women were allowed to play at Birkdale Golf Club, and Birkdale was a leading proponent of women's tournament golf from pretty close to inception even. So I think that's very, very interesting. The hole we're going to feature today is the 6th hole, which is a very pronounced dogleg right, playing back into the wind, and at 499, 500 yards, it is a beast of a golf hole. The first landing area is protected by about 3 bunkers. One's pretty short left, but the key one's sort of the one on the dogleg itself. It takes about 282 to 4 yards to carry that, depending on setup. And it's going to be tough to do if the wind's up at all. If you can do that, you can effectively shorten the hole, but if you play away from it, and if you even bail out, you've got a bunker longer left that could potentially come into play at 300 plus yards off the tee. Players that do find the fairway will still be playing into the wind on the second shot, even though the angles change somewhat. So the quartering may be a little bit different, but they'll have a long iron to a hybrid most likely in their hands, and the green itself is elevated. Even though the hole's doglegging to the right, the green's sort of cocked back right to left, which is an interesting sort of angle, I think. But the green's elevated, it's long, it's 38 yards deep, but being elevated, it can be very tricky to hit, especially with the long club. It's protected by dunes and ridges and contours all around. Short of the green are 3 greenside bunkers, I guess you'd call it, but they're really sort of more in play for anybody that hasn't found the fairway off the tee and is either trying to lay up or trying to sort of sneak one, chase one up toward the green. They can very much be in play, and they'll want to be avoided because can be very tricky to play out of. Scoring wise, it's practically a par 5. In 2008, the scoring average was 4.77. So you think about it, it's pretty amazing that you have the world's best golfers on a par 4, and more often than not, they're not making par. And so I think anybody that gets par here obviously is gaining on the field. We might have a handful of birdies, and they're really making a move on the field, because in essence it's really plays more like a championship level par 5 in terms of scoring average than maybe even your typical strong par 4. So very, very tough golf hole. It's been the hardest hole at the last 2 Opens held at Birkdale, and so watch folks here really just be trying to figure out how to keep it on the short grass and escape with a par.